Hello, hello. Welcome to Mountain Outpost Pod number 10. We're in double digits. Welcome. I am one of your co-hosts, Jamil Curry.
I'm the other co-host, Skizzle Fresh, Skylar Hall. How are you doing? So we really need to come up with a standard intro because
Yeah.
we're
If
keeping
you're
it
out
real
there, if
relaxed.
you're out there, you want to come up with a standard intro for us, maybe a jingle, maybe a tune, hit us up. That'd be
That's what's
great.
up.
Let's
That's what's up.
crowdsource it. Yeah, we're out here. I'm in a new location this time. We seem to always keep it fresh. If you are in the chat room, please, if you're live with us, give us a little shout out. Let us know how you're doing tonight. And if you have any questions for us tonight on any of the topics or unrelated topics, we'd be happy to get into it and answer. I am seeing about 10 people viewing right now, so it looks like we are live and good to go. Let's just jump on in.
Sweet.
How you doing this week, sir?
I'm good, man. Super, super busy. It's as you can imagine, watching the news, busy time being a public health professional right now. So a lot going on the work front. But glad to be spending some time with you and taking 90 minutes to just chat about literally anything other than vaccine distribution.
I
Yeah.
was just gonna say, I just wanted to get right into that, immediately. So, no, I mean the good thing is we are seeing case decline overall. So, I mean that's a trend that it's not only just good for general public health, but obviously for those of us who are in the event business or love to participate in any sort of events, whether that be running or otherwise. I know there's concerts, other things like that. So
Mhm.
festivals and whatnot. So hopefully those trends continue and things keep going.
That's the plan, man. Yeah, just same message we've been telling all along. Wash your hands, wear a mask, stay socially distant from those you don't live with, and when you get a chance to get the vaccine, do so. They're all super great once they're approved. Like all safe and effective. So make it happen. Yeah. How are
Awesome.
you? But how are you doing, man? What's up in your world?
Good stuff. Yeah, doing well. Just had a pretty intense training block. I actually took a day off yesterday. Just kind of ran out of time, honestly. And funny enough, I've been uh, lot. I'm like my brain is spinning now. A lot going on. Yeah. So I've been. I have my kid full time right now due to some COVID exposure. Um, and so that's been an interesting challenge for sure. But it's been good. Had a lot of time with him. But hence all my runs have been on my treadmill in the past week. And I put a lot of hours on there late at night. So I'm running, if you see me on Strava, sometimes I get 20 minutes in and then sometimes like do an hour at a time, take a little break, try and motivate myself to get back on there. But yeah, I think I ended up with like 26,000 feet of climb last week. And I think probably 20 of that or more was on the treadmill. And I think, yeah, 70 miles, 75 miles. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. It's in the past. We're moving on to the new week. But I got, I did take the day off yesterday. My brother actually hopped on the treadmill at like 11 p.m. last night. And I was like, how long you going? And he's like, an hour. I was like, I'm just going to bed.
Smart move.
Yeah, and I was like, my have you haven't really used Training Peaks before, right? You use a
Mm-mm.
different tracker.
Mostly Strava or just a
Okay.
Excel spreadsheet. But I did see that you posted. I think it was on Instagram. Might have just been your story. Your longitudinal training and form and fatigue. So how are things
Yeah.
progressing?
No, exactly. And it's interesting. And I was actually chatting with Taggart Van Etten a little bit because he's been using Training Peaks since 2017. I first used it in 2015, maybe. And then I haven't used it for a while. But I do love that chart because it gives you a visual representation of your training load over a period of time. You can see your fitness level. You can see also your fatigue level. And then they give you something called form, which is a subtraction of a couple of those numbers within a certain time period. So it kind of gives you a gauge of, okay, how tired am I? How fit am I? Am I more prone to injury right now? And then how hard of a taper do I need to instill before I toe the line to an A race? So, but my fatigue level, I think Taggart was telling me he doesn't like his to ever get below like a 25 or 30, like even in all of his training, just to make sure he's fit enough and doing, not pushing himself or exerting too much to the point of injury. And so, yeah, never less than like negative 25, negative 30. And I was like 130, 140 form factor. So he's like, what the heck are you doing, man? Because I'm basically going from, 0 to 100 again, more or less, just crazy ramp up. And I am registered for Elephant Mountain 50 mile on Saturday. So I figured, take Monday off and then just, hop back on Tuesday. So I haven't run yet today, but I'm going to tonight after this. I'm at least going to get an hour in, maybe hopefully 2 hours in tonight. And then kind of move on with the rest of the week, get in some more treadmill runs, and hopefully I can toe the line on Saturday. That's the plan. That's the dream. That's the hope. And then we'll be right into Black Canyon week. And I think that's probably gonna be the bulk of this podcast tonight that definitely I want to touch on. And we've already got questions in the chat here. We got any predictions for Black Canyon, taper mode for Black Canyon here from Carrie Allen, excited for a live race. But we do have some updates that are really important. We haven't really been talking about Black Canyon the past couple weeks, and we'll get all into that later tonight.
Yeah, no, definitely. We just getting the cursory tale from you. It's going to be a very interesting story. And so for folks who have not checked in before to what this is all about, this is not your standard Outhouse news program. This is not your standard let's interview a bunch of guests program. This is basically just me and Jamil catching up, and then you guys getting to ask us questions along the ride. So if you are in the live chat, do make sure that you drop in some questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, needs, or emotions, and we'll address those along the way, especially with the dedicated Q&A at the end. I will go over some things that have occurred in the running world, but as Jamil said, we'll spend a lot of time talking about Black Canyon, and then just get into some weird stuff.
I mean, right now, I think, all eyes should be on Black Canyon. I'm a little biased, but I think, it's the next golden ticket in the spring series. We actually did get full approval for the race. I am on the original course, and it's right now shocking to me that I just said that, because there's been a lot of drama that's unfolded the last couple of weeks. And this is, it's kind of a behind the scenes show here. It's not on our kind of main Aravaipa channels, so I feel like we can say whatever we want here. Uncut, raw edition.
We'll start some controversy. Yeah, it won't be the first time, and it probably will not be the last. So we'll definitely get into it.
So Angela Anderson, is Black Canyon happening, is the question in the chat room. Yes, it's happening February 13th and 14th. We actually announced that it was happening several weeks ago. It might have been a month ago now.
Sounds right.
We got approval from the BLM, the Bureau of Land Management, which covers like 99% of the course. There's a small section on state trust land. There's a few private property parcels, namely, there's Mayer High School to start. There's Bumblebee Ranch, which is private venue, ranch, everything, camping and such. And then there's Rock Springs, which is like the big parking lot next to the pie shop there in Black Canyon City. So other than that, it's pretty much all BLM. So we had checked all those boxes. We, of course, submit our permits through Yavapai County. And then that's never been an issue in the past. And we ended up having an issue with our Yavapai County permit. And it was all based upon the COVID cases that have been spiking here in Arizona, in Yavapai County specifically. And they're basically like we had all green lights, all approvals, everything. And when it got to the kind of the final person to sign off, they said, we can't sign off. We can't do it. We can't have this event happen right now. This was a couple weeks ago. So behind the scenes, it was one of those, just another shocking moment for us of like, what are we going to do? We had just told everyone a couple weeks ago that it's on. Everyone's booking their travel, their flights, all the whole 9 yards. And here we are faced with another giant roadblock. And so, We sprung into action. I think that's one of the things we're strongest at Aravaipa at our company is we want to find a way. We want to work with people to make it happen. So we pulled out all the stops. We not only got immediately on a new operating plan that was much more restrictive, and that's what has been sent out today and sent to all runners. We just got the word yesterday, so we tried to get that information out as soon as possible. I apologize for the restrictions, but it's really literally the only way we were able to get this event approved. And we would take this and even more restrictions probably in order to hold the event on the Black Canyon Trail. So we give that experience to the runners that are signed up. So that's and that we protect the communities that we're in. So that's our number one goal. But we actually created, in addition to that operating plan that went out, which I don't know if that is going to be made public, but beautifully well done by our race director, Jubilee Page. Have to commend her. She turned it around in 24 hours. It was unbelievable. And then we actually scouted at a second complete venue that was not in Yavapai County whatsoever. It was in Maricopa County, one of our regional parks. So huge shout out to Maricopa County Parks and Recreation. They are one of our biggest partners throughout the year. We hold countless number of events with them throughout the year. We've been doing so for 12 years and they've hosted events for decades. So, support them, buy annual passes. We love them over there at Maricopa County Parks. And we were just about to get final approval on our alt course. So if everyone booked their travel, they would still have a 100K rolling desert race that was a Western States qualifier that was still going to be a golden ticket race. Would not have been quite the same as the Black Canyon Trail, but we did have that kind of in our back pocket as a backup. We went through and created basically a brand new race from scratch in a week or so, and then had to get that permitted. We also had to work with another local race organizer. I'm just going to shout Omar out from Race Timers. They have an event that was going to be held in the same park on the same day and is super accommodating. So really just grateful for everyone that was part of this process. Even Yavapai County, I want to thank them for, keeping their county safe and doing what they felt like they needed to do and give us some of these new guidelines and requirements. So just right now, feeling grateful that we were able to get the yes. And we're just excited to welcome all the runners. It's going to be a different year. Black Canyon's kind of like that, though. It's always an interesting ride, whether it's an alt course with the snow or the flooded rivers. Right now, the streams are looking good. We did get a pretty big rainstorm about a week ago, about 2.5 inches on the course, which I think will kind of make the course perfect. I think we're probably going to start to see some green popping up out of the desert. It's been dry and dead. And the streams probably might have a little bit of flow, but they really haven't risen. So as long as we don't see another storm and knock on all the wood right there, we should be ready for an awesome day of trail running. So yeah, I guess in general, just if you are running the race, please do read through the guidelines. We are taking it very seriously. It's the only way that we're able to get this permit. We apologize in advance for the inconvenience of no crews. And we're even, if you don't want to run this year because of the restrictions, you can just roll over or credit your entry. So, no questions asked pretty much. Other than that, this is the time where we are going to double down on our live stream. So again, we made the call out a couple times, but now we're serious for real. If you do want to, this is kind of a chance to get out there and maybe go where crew can't. If you want to join the live stream, if you have your own phone and your own gimbal, that would be ideal. You're basically going to tune in via a web browser, and we're going to take your camera feed. We're going to plug it right into our live show. So if you have any of those two things, you don't have to be a fast runner. You can hang out at one of the aid stations or another place on course that has some service. Please go to our volunteer section of the Black Canyon Ultras page and sign up. There's a whole new tab at the very end. We're trying to look for a big team of people. We want to spread people out over the whole course. I feel like I'm just giving a monologue right now.
No. I
But
think that says a lot about not just the inner workings of this specific race, but sort of what RDs across the board normally have to deal with, and then add considerations of a pandemic and keeping runners and communities safe on top of it. So, yeah, no, I think you touched on a lot of things. I did want to ask, thinking about potentially having to completely switch the venue, go to a completely different park system, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Black Canyon over the course of 100K normally has what, 8, 9, 10 aid stations. And so to think through how you're going to space all those out, how does that change runners' plans while they're on course? If an aid station, is it going to have the same spacing between them? The number of volunteers you need, the number of staff you need to get everything out there and prepare the course markings week of. What sort of thought process and what sort of mechanisms were you guys going through? Because essentially you were planning for two different races at the same time, not knowing which one was going to get executed. Can you give us a little insight as to what that component on the operations side looks like?
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of considerations, especially when you're talking about a world-class event like Black Canyon. You can't just, throw it on a little looped course and call it good. It wouldn't be the same experience. But I would say we've been in this boat before. We've had to completely redo the Black Canyon 100K multiple times race week, if not the race morning. So I feel like we've prepared ourselves well for this, although it is extremely stressful and overwhelming at times for sure. But, for me, the only way to do an alternate Black Canyon that's not on the Black Canyon Trail is to provide kind of as epic of an experience as you can. So we had designed, it was a 2-loop course, but the first loop was going to be 60K essentially. And it was going to incorporate some brand new trails that have just been built in the last month and a half that have never been used for an event before. So I'm just like teasing things. It would have been actually really, I think it would have been really cool. It would have been able to incorporate crews, but we just felt like we got to, if we given the chance to run on the BCT, we got to take it. So that was the deciding factor there, of course. But yeah, in terms of everything else, we kind of emotionally invested in the switch, which I think is important because if we as organizers aren't excited about what we're doing, it's hard to get everyone else on board and get excited. So we were actually pretty stoked on the new layout, the new loop. There were a lot of benefits, but once we got the last minute approval from Yavapai, it was a little hard emotionally, I think, for Jubilee and myself, because we'd kind of taken that step and we had left the Black Canyon Trail behind us and been like, well, it's not going to be this year, so let's get pumped about this new thing. And we actually were legitimately excited. And then we had to unwind that and be like, all right, now we have to actually wrap our head around executing this restrictive plan that we put in the application just to get the approval. And so now, yeah, we had basically committed to start planning for the alternate course. We had kind of set that all in motion, and we were, literally probably an hour away from getting that final approval and, calling up all of our vendors, moving locations, and once we set that in motion, there would have been no turning back. So it was kind of, what did it say, like the 11th hour or whatever. It was the 23rd hour. I don't know. It was the last possible moment. And so it's just funny how this stuff works out sometimes, and kind of the behind the scenes drama that I think, without maybe this podcast, these stories would never hear the light of day, or at least they wouldn't this fresh in the moment. Mm-hmm. We might hear about it post race randomly as a tale, but it's fresh right now. And not only that, we're in the midst of it. We're in full on crazy mode to pull all of this together. So, Wave Starts went out today, fielding questions. Runners have lots of questions about everything that's going on. So it's a nonstop thing, but we love it, and we're here to help and make the best experience possible. So
nice. And I think it's important to also shout out from somebody who has nothing to do with the race planning. The fact that the Alt course would have still been a Western States qualifier and still would have had a Black Canyon. I think it's important to shout out, Western States Endurance Run and the board and everybody involved on that side, because they were also down because they have obviously a vested interest in Black Canyon being successful. They were also ready to roll with it. And so I don't know to what degree you can talk about this, but what was that interaction like with either with the board or with Thornley directly? Like, how does that work? Like, and I guess if you can also scope how it would look in a normal year, is it just, hey, let us know who the top two are that accept tickets, or to what degree are you interacting with the powers that be at Western States?
Yeah, great question. Obviously, that was one of our most important things that we thought about was, is this still going to be a Western States qualifier? Or are we still going to be able to hand out those golden tickets? And so, I mean, for us, it was pretty easy. Haley, who was still with us, when we got the news about all this, she just reached out to Craig directly and got the answer pretty quickly that basically was like, yes. Like, and I think that goes a long way. Like, we just have a good relationship with him. So it was easy to be like, he knows that it's going to be comparable and we're going to provide a good, safe venue and all that kind of stuff. So, it's a bit of a given, but he was on board and they supported what we were trying to do here. And that went a long way. It made that piece of it a lot easier, most definitely. And I do also have to shout out Hoka. They are the title sponsor this year, and they also put their support behind the race too, even with the alternate venue. So that's always, nice to have that, just the support from everyone for sure.
No, that's great to hear. And I will say, as somebody who's preparing to, hop on that live stream and commentate, it is nice to have a course that we have previous results on. It's going to make for a lot more interesting and well-developed commentary. I started my planning of it, the past couple of days. And if we were on a new course, we would have just been, just throwing out projections that had no sense of reality. So I'm excited for Black Canyon. I'm happy that you all can semi-breathe a sigh of relief, but at the same time, I know how absurd you guys get during race week. So Godspeed for the week ahead, or I guess really the 12 days ahead at this point. But it's gonna be a lot of fun. And so folks are gonna be out there racing. Definitely say hey to a camera. We'll see it from the studio. And thank your volunteers. Thank Jubilee. It's what the trail community does well. Just show love to everyone out there, because we're excited to have you all in a safe and healthy way.
Yeah, it'll definitely be a little bit weird. We have our packet pickups going to be kind of drive through at our office. Everything is toned down, no crews pretty much anywhere, no spectators anywhere. So it's a real raw, old school kind of a race. I mean, there will be, with the exception of the live stream, of course, but it's going to be runners out there. They're going to be starting 30 people every 15 minutes. And yeah, the biggest thing for us is we just can't really have any gathered crowds in the entire Yavapai County, pretty much anywhere on course that's greater than 50 people. So that's kind of the magic thing to keep in mind when you're out there.
And that's what drop bags are for. So use them wisely.
Yep, drop bags, and we'll have definitely good volunteers at the aid stations. But yeah, it's a little bit of a throwback. You got to kind of be a little more self-sufficient. Make sure you're taking care of yourself out there and run safe.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good time for all involved, and I can't promise we're gonna keep you entertained for 10 plus hours every single minute, but we're gonna do our damnedest to try. So we might have to come up with some challenges to knock out in the middle of it, just to
that would be great. Yeah,
to keep folks engaged. I can't see the chat. Are there comments or questions?
Yeah, we definitely have a few. A couple people missed what we were talking about. We're just talking about Black Canyon stuff and how we had a bit of a drama the last couple of weeks, having to redo our operating plan to get actual final approval for the event, even to the point that we had created a completely alternate course in a different county that didn't even touch the Black Canyon Trail in case that the permit did not come through, and it finally did yesterday. So that's why you're getting the update today. And so, yeah, check your runner email. Please check your ultra sign up stuff. It has been sent out. So please read it, because there are massive restrictions on crews. There's essentially no crews allowed anywhere on the course, with the exception of Table Mesa, but only when your runner's there. So don't arrive early, don't stay late and party there, but tune into the live stream, okay? Great. There's plenty of other amazing, drop your runner off at the start, go find an awesome place to run that's not the Black Canyon Trail. Go to like Cave Creek Regional Park, or run the Maricopa Trail, go out to Lake Pleasant Regional Park. There's a lot of really amazing places to go. You can watch on your phone on YouTube while you are out on your run. Be safe, all that kind of stuff. And then come pick up your tired runner and cart them off to your hotel room or back into their bed if they live locally. So it's going to be great. Is the Elite Wave only eligible for a golden ticket? This is a great question. We've been fielding. It was great that we did this, because we did do an elite application. Normally in a race, we don't really have to worry about this, because everyone is just all like 700 people are just on the start line, right? Mm-hmm. This year, it's 30 to 40 runners per wave. We're doing 40 for the elite men, and then 15 minutes later, it'll be 40 for the elite women. And then it's waves of 30 beyond that. So we wanted to pack as much talent and competition as we could in the first wave for men and the first wave for women. We apologize in advance if we, missed someone. We literally had well over 100 applicants for these spots, and it's tough sometimes to weigh everyone's qualifications or your current hunger level for that golden ticket. We had a lot of like really good arguments in there, but we did our best. But we are going to go by wave start time. So it is possible you could, one of our golden tickets could go to a male that started in a wave 3, and they are a dark horse, and we missed you, and we apologize in advance. But we won't hand out that ticket until, we've calculated and we know for sure that that ticket is real. So just run your heart out.
Oh, we're going to have such fun in the booth, being like Carbon X2 style. Like, this wave has this amount of time left if they still want the golden ticket. This person's on the bubble.
That'll give us some things to focus on, because we'll know by probably Table Mesa mile 50 if anyone, even by Black Canyon City potentially, if anyone's even close. Mm-hmm. So we'll just make it that more interesting. We should do like a bonus maybe for if someone in wave 3 gets a golden ticket or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't speak to the finances, but they'll definitely get some shout outs on this pod the following Tuesday. Let's keep it entertaining.
Let's see. We got some other comments here. Carrie Allen, sounds like you have the making for a new 100K race. Ooh, interesting. I think that will become a reality. We're either going to morph an existing event at that park to this new concept, or we'll just make a new race, because I think it's gonna be really cool. It started to feel like Javelina JJ vibes, like with the camping and the huge venue parking area, that we've never staged an event of this size at that part of that park. And I think with the epic kind of single 60K loop, I think could be a good one.
Choice.
Doing the Black Canyon Dan Cash doing the Black Canyon 60K, can't wait. And also on that note, in my opinion, you should keep the Black Canyon a 2-day event if you can. Another genius comment right there, because I think that is what we are going to do. Is we're going to keep the 100K on Saturday, the 60K on Sunday. It's going to be a 2-day ridiculously awesome event going forward. And that way we can add in more people to both events. And then there's not 60K people running down 100K people and all that kind of stuff. We got a comment here from Rob Ricardo. Shout out. Is Walmsley a definite go for the race, or is he still recovering from Carbon X 2? Looks like he was scoping the BCT on Strava a few days back. I don't know. I think I texted him a few days after Carbon X and just didn't get a response.
Left on red. Womp womp.
Yep.
Yeah, and I just before we jump too far away from that, I think it's good signposting to just let folks know that we'll probably do a pretty thorough and proper 100K preview next week. Hopefully, as someone who's helping run the event, you'll have a pretty good sense of if folks have dropped and how those waves might be moving, and we can give folks some insight as to big names that are going to be there, sleepers that folks might not have heard of, and just important things to be watching as they're tuning into the live stream, so that folks can be informed and tweet or comment their hearts out. So next week, we're going to get weird on it.
Yeah, exactly. I think next week's show is going to be all about Black Canyon, talking about the elite waves, any other impressive storylines that we got going on. I got a shout out real quick too. Maybe we'll talk more about it next week as well. But the Black Canyon Trail Coalition, they're the guys and gals that have made the trail possible. They're continuing to build the trail northbound. Super exciting, lengthening the trail. Probably at some point incorporate that into this event. So this race could be longer in the future, which is really exciting as well. As we move to a 2-day event, who knows, might move to a 3-day event and include a longer distance if there's interest. I don't know. I'm just leaking info here. Comment away. So yeah, definitely. And actually, I'll drop this right now. We're working on a fundraising event with the Black Canyon Trail Coalition to raise money to help build the trail. We also need volunteers. So I think during the live stream, boom, actually, it's a great idea. We're going to be promoting the heck out of the Black Canyon Trail Coalition. We need donations. They need help. They need money, people. They need all of it. And they're going to be out at the Soap Creek Aid Station. They've been hosting the Soap Creek Aid Station since the start of this race. Huge supporters of the race, and we want to give back to them as much as possible. So that's my quick plug on that.
Sweet. Cool. News to me in terms of us promoting it. But they've been stellar for years at this point. And without this race being what it is, they were already out there, and they're going to continue to be out there putting in the good work for the BCT. So I definitely recommend supporting them if you can, and you'll hear a lot from us trying to do so for the next couple of weeks and well beyond.
Okay, this is the money comment of the night right here. Tina Samartinen, this is Vasil's wife, I believe. Since I can't crew anymore, I'm looking at volunteering for the video coverage. Ding, ding, ding. Ding, 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 ding. This is kind of the workaround here, people. I'm not publicly saying that, but we do need, our media team, our video team is going to be distributed across all of the course. If you're on the media video team, you cannot actually crew your runner. So it's not that sort of a loophole. You are going to be volunteering for us, but you might have a chance to see someone but you still cannot crew them. Confused based upon the info on the site. There are no aid station names, just time frames. So yes, still working on the plan. And I figured it would be better to just get, basically people to commit to a 6-hour time block. And depending on kind of your experience, where you individually want to be, I'm going to fit you in somewhere. And depending on the cell phone coverage of the race site. So everyone, if you are interested, throw your name down there. I'll be reaching out this week and plugging you in. So,
yeah, because remind me, because it's been a few years since we were running out there, or at least I was running out there. But most of the places you can get to off of the highway with just a normal vehicle, but there are some spots you will need either like high clearance, or you need like a 4-wheel drive situation. Is that correct?
I mean, if the weather's good and the roads are dry, you can get almost anywhere in any sort of vehicle. I would say, if there's weather, you're going to need you're going to need a serious vehicle. But there's ways to incorporate people for sure. If people can park somewhere and they can hike out a few miles to a section that we know there's some coverage, some cell coverage, and can at least just give us a little insight, even if it's just standing on some hilltop somewhere out there that you can get some 4G and give us a little. We can watch the top 10 run by and we can just see it and then we can commentate on it. That's really what we're looking for. This is going to be maybe the most grassroots live stream of a trail ultra in existence ever. So we're excited for it. We're not sure what's going to happen. So we've got to set the bar low. You will get me and Skylar in the studio talking about stuff for, 12, how many hours did we say? 12 hours? No, it's 10 hours.
I think it's at least 10.
It's around 10, I think, where we want to definitely commentate through the top 3 to 5 women. I know Skylar has some plans that evening, but I might, stick it out longer. And then we're planning to have like the finish line camera going all the way until 7 a.m., which will be our last finisher for all of you. Hey, 80 in the live chat. Makes this podcast great again. We're getting there. That's right. It is the biggest one we've had so far. That's cool. Will the stream just follow the elites or the entire race? Great question. I think it will be a combination at the end of the day. We're going to, like I said, we're going to try and just get as many people out there on course as possible that can throw us footage. It might even be like, I'm literally at some point, if there's not good, coverage somewhere, it's like we're going to send someone out on a section of trail and they're going to shoot video and they're going to text it to us and we will play it on the screen. And then we will say, well, this was from this person at mile whatever, and this is the footage, and we're going to look at it if we don't have anything else good at that time. So, but at times, like we're going to have people at certain aid stations and whoever's coming through will just show you that footage. Like we're going to kind of, beggars can't be choosers sometimes,
We're doing it live.
Yeah. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah. I should say, I literally texted you yesterday, like, should we have a production meeting to figure out what's happening with this live stream? So we're sort of having it right now, and you guys are all watching it and listening to
it. I've been dragging my feet a bit because I wasn't sure on the status of where we were going to hold the event. But I've been messaging people today. I've been getting some unexpected emails from people that are interested in signing up. So it's going to be great. We had one question real quick about Copper Corridor. I do want to address that. Copper Corridor, amazing new race we launched last year. I think it's the hat that I always wear that's probably gross, but we're close to getting approval for that event at the end of February. Hoping to have it February 27th. It goes in front of the Town of Superior Town Council on the 11th of February. Everything else, I think, is pretty much a green light. It's like a verbal green light with that approval. So we have the wait list open right now. If February 11th rolls around and they say yes, and everything else lines up, we should have that open the 12th and should be official on that one. It'll be our second edition out there.
Sweet.
Brian's asking, Jamil, how's your Barkley Marathons training going? Have you thought about how you'll organize yourself without a crew? Interesting. So training is going pretty good. I wrote myself a training plan and I have goals, and I'm about 2 weeks into that. And I kind of told, if I had less going on right now, professionally and personally, I would say I would hit that. But just with the level of motivation I have right now, which is extremely high, I'm like, if I hit 80% of what I set out to do between now and the race, I think I'll be in really good shape. I'll be fitter than I've ever been going into the race by a magnitude of a couple times probably. So I'm just shooting for 80% of that at the end of the day. So it's going well so far.
So let me hop in. Because you've been talking about, or you started off earlier for folks who weren't here. You're talking about you doing a lot of work on the treadmill. you're getting some gain in. Um, what is, I guess, how would you define your priorities in terms of training right now? Are you looking more at gain as the important part? Or are you talking about time on feet? Like, how are you organizing your
Yeah.
thoughts around your training plan at the moment?
Yeah. So I'll just go into it a little bit. I mean, I basically, I looked at what John Kelly did in 2017 was kind of and that's the year he finished. That's crazy. The last finisher of the Barkley was 2017. It's 4 years. Anyways, that's wild. It's a drought. That's a drought that needs to end. Anyways, yeah, so he did a certain amount of miles and a certain amount of climbing, and I was going to try and get close to that. I was behind because I missed like the first 2 weeks of training in January. I basically did nothing. So I was like, oh, I got to adjust it down a little bit in terms of the mileage, but I was going to try and climb more than he climbed. It might end up being that I climb close to what he climbed, but I'm probably not going to hit either number or be close, but I might be like 80% of what he did, which I think would be pretty good. I think I've got maybe more lifetime experience than he had then for sure. Especially knowing the Barkley course and just number of like, I mean, I don't know, maybe other ultras and stuff, but I'm not trying to compare myself to John Kelly too much, but I think it's a good baseline. Like if I get several hundred miles run and a couple 100,000 feet of climbing before Barkley between January 1 and the race, I think I'll be in pretty good shape. Oh, in terms of what you were saying though, yeah, I'm not just only focused on vert. I have both vert and mileage goals every week because I think just focusing on climbing, you're going to lose out and you're going to miss out on a ton of fitness that you can gain by just doing volume of miles, even at faster, like more runnable paces.
Mm-hmm.
And then like now and again, I'll throw in, like, I'll just run really hard on some sections of trail or runs I'm on. I don't
Mm-hmm.
plan my speed work in, but I am running faster at times.
So, thinking, comparing that with sort of what you threw up from Training Peaks, we're all over the place with this line of questioning, obviously. Um, but like, how are you visualizing it? Like, are you thinking, I'm just trying to maintain this level of fatigue? Like, where are your red lines at? Basically, how do you know that like you might have extended too far, or like to what degree are you willing to push through that?
I'm just
Break that down for me.
I mean, I'm trying to just be a functional human day to day is like the main goal. So
Dude, that's all of us in 2020 and 2021.
yeah,
What are you talking about?
but it's like, okay, I've got a kid home. He's got virtual school all day. I'm trying to work. And it's like, okay, I got to fit in some running between the hours of 9 to sometimes 1 in the morning. Sometimes I got to get at least 5 hours of sleep so I can stay somewhat functional. So that becomes a limiting factor at some point. But it's also, I'm trying to do it in waves, and I'm doing some training races. So like Saturday, Elephant Mountain 50 mile. So this week is, I'm hopefully just going to get, 4 days of training on the treadmill, get several thousand feet of climbing every day, get a couple hours in, like a couple hours in. That will end up being probably like, maybe hopefully 10 miles with 4,000 or 5,000 feet of climb every day. Maybe Friday will be an easier chill day. And then Saturday run the 50-mile race and then try and get more miles in on Sunday. I mean, I want to try and get as close to 100 miles this week. Black Canyon week, I'm already planning on it. That's kind of a down recovery week, just because, I mean, Saturday race day for the live stream, I mean, maybe we might be able to switch off and I can go jog, get like a 3-mile loop around the neighborhood possibly, or I might just have to take the day off. So, but right after that, I am flying to Tennessee, like Monday after Black Canyon, and I'm going to have 5 days at the park. So that's going to be my huge boot camp block where I'm going to be from like park open to park close. I'm going to be out in Frozen Head, hopefully getting, 25 to 30 miles and 7 to 8,000 feet of climbing in every single day in whatever conditions are out there.
Mm-hmm.
And so that'll be like a huge 5-day block. And then we'll just see how I feel after that. But I probably have an opportunity to do, like a couple more big weeks after that before I have to kind of start to think about tapering down.
For sure.
So it's a very condensed training block, but that's what I got.
So can I derail this entire conversation?
Oh yeah, we can go on to something else.
And no. It's very related, but I have not told you I've been thinking about this at all, but I want to get your thoughts on it. So thinking especially about the Barkley Boot Camp component and how you have vlogged this in the past and or in previous years where you had gone out to train, and obviously you vlogged a lot of your training for a lot of these major races. So I've been listening to like a lot of different podcasts, listen to a lot of different folks in the running community talk about running content online. And so given what you just said about like how busy things are and like you're trying to be a functional human being and the fact that you have some very specific goals moving forward, how do you see the like run steep vertical, like that vlog playing into this? Like, I don't think a lot of people understand the time that goes into making vlogs or really any content in the running space online. So how, because people are, I'm sure, probably as I'm saying this, are clamoring like, when are we going to get a vlog about it? So like what goes into it, and sort of how do you see filming playing into this? Because I have some thoughts about the run flat side of the house, but I'm just going to like drop this out of nowhere onto you and just like get your impromptu thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I want to do it. I want to do it really badly and kind of open up that inside look for sure. I want it to be, I think I've really been enjoying some of the running YouTube content out there for sure. And it's like, it can get you motivated and pumped up to see what people are doing. I mean, I think it's coming. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, I can't be the one, I think that's like film. I can't do the thing where I film and edit it all myself anymore. I mean, that clearly it's not happening. It's not sustainable. So, that's what I got right now.
Yeah, no.
Even like,
I literally gave you no setup for this.
Yeah.
Like we haven't even texted about this.
No.
I just completely dropped that on you.
Yeah, because like, okay, when I'm on my treadmill, I like to do my YouTube watching now when I'm on my treadmill. Put my AirPods in, I go on there, and I'll watch random stuff. I actually don't watch a lot of running content because that's like my whole life. So I try and watch non-running stuff. Mm-hmm. But I have, because of some of our conversations, I've been trying to tune into a lot of the track road groups or just track road athletes and what they're doing. I've been watching Ali Ostrander. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you watch her YouTube channel at all, mm-hmm. but it's just cool to see, like, it's really raw and you get a sense of, who these runners are. Some of the other ones, like the Tin Man Elite, they're just goofing around, having fun, but then they get a strong workout in. Sometimes I watch some of their edits and it's like my pace starts to like mimic what they're doing, and you kind of get into the thing, yep. into like the rhythm of it, which is pretty cool. So there's some cool stuff out there, and it'd be cool to produce and to put out some more stuff with some of this inside look. I mean, I'm attempting some crazy stuff this year with the Slam of the Damned Part 2. In the midst of everything going on, hopefully all the races happen, but definitely biting off a big chunk of things. And it'd be fun to share the journey and to have that to look back on someday, live the glory days. So.
Nice. No, I respect it. I bring this up and I put you on the spot and I apologize, but not really. But no, I was literally having a conversation with Mr. Saxo Beat, Alex Sachs. I was running with him on Sunday, and I was just, he obviously is a consumer of running content. He the way that me and him know each other is we were both running Mountains to Beach Marathon 2019, and he comes zooming past me and then turns, is like, "Hey, I know you," which is usually how most people yell at me while we're running. And so we were just chatting about like what we're doing here on the channel and things in the running space. And I've been sitting on footage for 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks in terms of a run flat vlog. And I keep struggling with like what I want to do with that vertical. And like I hate, this is me personally, I hate the notion of like I'm gonna set the camera down and I'm gonna run past it and I'm gonna run back and I'm gonna pick it up and I gotta like then continue my running. Like
Yeah.
I'm an urban runner. Like I'm running on the street. Like if I leave my camera on the sidewalk, that might get run away with, and not by me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so like there's just certain things that a lot of other people do that like it's just not my style, or like it feels a little like weird for me to do or incongruent. And
Like
then
you
it's
feel
like
weird setting the camera down and running past it, or just talking into it, or what?
the talking part is like if I'm in public, it just inherently feels weird because I'd like to
Sure.
think I'm a slightly socially aware person. If I'm running down the sidewalk in San Francisco, like, hey, here's me, and then like these people are like walking past me, like, what the hell is this dad doing? Like, yeah, it feels weird. But especially like I'm gonna set it somewhere, run past, run back. Like if I'm out for a run, like I'm out for a run and it breaks up the actual training or like the zoning out that I think a lot of us enjoy about the running space when I have to
Yeah.
think about those elements. So like I'm struggling with that and like like where I fit that in. And then also I just don't think, and this might be me overthinking it, like I don't think people want to see like 6 minutes of me just like lightly jogging around. Like if I'm doing a track workout or something specific, then I think that's more like, and I can walk through like why I'm doing a particular workout, like that
Yeah.
might be more engaging. But just to be like, here's me on a scenic run, like I don't think like that's what my brand is. Like I'm not in these scenic places that you are for Hard Rock or for Barkley training and whatnot. And so I keep struggling with what do people care about, what's you like, what is important to me, and in that same way, like what do I want to look back on and sort of reflect on and be like, yeah, like I enjoyed that workout, I enjoyed this part of my training process. And then like what's novel, because I don't want to just put stuff out for the sake of putting stuff out. Like I want it to be like a true expression of myself and be able to connect with the community in a way that they can engage back, which it's great that we have this podcast format now because there's people literally directly in the chat or people are DMing or commenting when they watch this back later. But like on a vlog, it's like, like
Yeah, I
I
hear
am
you.
personally having this struggle with
I
the
hear
run
you.
flat vlog and what that looks like. And like, I have personal goals for running, but then it's like, it's not that I don't want to share them. I am having a difficulty like making the pivot to like, what about my personal running journey is useful for
Yeah.
others to connect with, if that makes
No,
sense.
absolutely. I agree with that too. Because I think I struggle with that, especially sometimes putting stuff out there where it's like, oh yeah, okay, here's me running, doing something. I'm just trying to put something out there to get something out there. But it's like, how is this providing any sort of value for someone that wants to view this? What's their takeaway? How's this going to help them in their running? And sometimes
Mhm.
it can be helpful just by being like inspirational to see. Like it might just, the value could literally be I'm watching this and it's cinematic running something, or
Mhm.
someone's doing some really hard workout. And so I'm like learning what the workout is. Then I can see what the workout looks like. And then I'm like now motivated to strap on my shoes and get out the door. So like that alone could be a good value. I think that's a lot of times you see, and some of it's storytelling too. I think there is an
Mhm.
element where it could be just about you as the person putting it out there, what's going on. But yeah, I think I struggle with that too. Some people are really good at it and it has a time and place, like just self filming. But I
Mhm.
think, man, the production level goes up so much when someone else is filming you.
Right.
And when you're more authentic and off the cuff and just kind of being yourself in the moment, kind of just living your life doing things, and someone's just kind of documenting what you're doing, while you still kind of know you're talking to an audience, I guess. But
Mhm.
to me, I think, yeah, like the ideal thing is you would, maybe you have a plan of like, okay, what's the purpose of this video? And then if you had someone to help film it that was maybe also editing that video, would be like the ideal setup. And I think that's what you see a lot of successful, probably people on YouTube doing, where even like Ali Ostrander, like what is the athlete special? I don't know his real name. Like
Spencer Brown.
He's helping, and I don't want to say that he's doing her videos because she's clearly editing them herself and probably filming a lot, but she has someone else and it might be him, Spencer, filming, or someone else. Like they clearly have some other people helping them film. Like when they're doing workouts and they're interacting with their teammates, it's just very natural and what they would be doing anyways. And it's just someone capturing that. And I think that's why people connect with it so well, is it's so authentic and you kind of see what's going on there. And so I think that's kind of maybe the model. So it's a matter of like figuring out how to pull that off, I guess, yeah, which is not easy. Like I'm not even good at doing that. So, but yeah, it's an interesting conversation for sure.
Yeah. Like literally I was talking to Alex, and I've talked to Nasty Nate about this too. It's like, I feel like such a pretentious asshole if I'm like, hey, we're going to run on this single track, because like that's just the run that we're doing together, but can you film me on my camera doing that? Like we're having a friendly conversation. Like I'm running with folks because I enjoy their presence and I hope they enjoy my presence. Like we're just chatting and like, but also I need you to get some footage for me. Like I feel like a dick asking that. And so, it all ties in.
Ideally, it's like you find like a running partner like one day a week where you can go on a run and you can each help film each other's videos or something.
Yeah.
I don't know the ideal.
I have no idea, but I mean, it's so I guess for those listening at home, it's not that I specifically, and I think I can speak for Jamil on this, we're not trying to shirk, the responsibility that we inherently feel, even though if it's not like explicit, to like give you guys vlogs and content. It's a process. It's difficult. Like, I don't know. There's a quality element. Like I think, especially for you at this point, like I know how much you think about how well the production value has to be on anything you put out. And then for me, it's just like I have one computer and a portable hard drive, and it just takes like 10 hours to export anything. And so it's just like, it's the backside or the back end work of it where it's just like, like we want to make sure it's good, and like to put out something crappy, it's like,
we clearly need an ongoing production meeting every week now. It sounds like for this YouTube channel.
That's all this pod is. That's all this pod today has been. It's like, how can we make this better?
It's now turning into just our weekly meeting, and then you guys are all just here for it. So welcome.
It's literally the joke where, the elevator doors closes and then the person is just like, the reason I've called you all here, that's literally what this podcast has been. So yeah, it's all G.
Building in public, I think is what they call it, something like that. Should we do some more questions? They've probably been piling up, unless you have some more like random off the cuff questions for me.
We still haven't done news, so
man.
So we're all over the board today.
Well, let's do a little bit of news and then let's get to the Q&A. The Q&A, if you're still here, which we have somehow maintained 74 of you watching, drop them in. We're going to get to them here before the end of the show.
Yeah, I'm a speed round this. This is just going to be straight up run flat news from the world that is. So I'll try to break this up in some sort of logical pattern, and I took notes that I can hopefully read this week. So let's talk indoors. All right. So we got fast things happening on the track. The American Track League had their second professional race this past weekend. We saw Bryce Hoppel, who won like 21 races in a row in 2019 before finally losing in the like world championship semis or something like that. He ran 1:44.37 in the 800 as his debut for the season. So the men's 800 on the American side looking real solid. We had the Ben Blankenship Mile. That's right. A professional runner sponsored a race at a meet to show some love to the women. So the women's mile was won by Heather McLean in 4:27.34. So just good to see some nice, like solid indoor times happening, even though there's no U.S. championships, there's no world championships, but a lot of people are chasing their Olympic dreams this year. And a lot of that's going to go down in February. So get excited for that. We've got on the Speaking of the Olympics, I guess we'll just talk about it. Australia came out with a news story that they're aiming to vaccinate all of their Olympic athletes before Tokyo. South Korea has already said they're going to do it. Israel's already halfway there. So this is going to be a very interesting bioethics conversation that happens the rest of the year, or at least through the summer, to figure out, is it proper to vaccinate all of your elite athletes for this Olympic glory, or what's that going to look like for countries that have disproportionate vaccine rollouts? So tune in for that. I'm sure it'll be very entertaining and quite a political spectacle. We have the LA Marathon has been pushed back yet again until the fall. So that's going to be on a new course that doesn't go through Santa Monica, and it's got like a bunch of cool nuances to the new course, but they had to push it back because California, not about that life.
I just saw Way Too Cool 50K was also postponed.
I really don't think there's going to be a lot of California racing until at least April, at the way things are going. Yeah, so that makes perfect sense. In Britain, night of 10,000 PBs, it's a wild track event. If you've never seen footage of this, it's literally like a bunch of people running, and the crowd is just through like lane 3. Like they're just lined the entire track, like right there, yelling in a sound tunnel the entire time, which for 10,000 meters is 25 laps. That has been canceled for 2021, which in itself is kind of whack, but it normally, or it was planning to serve as the essentially like de facto Olympic trials for the 10,000 for the British Olympic team. And so Britain is now scrambling to figure out how the hell they're going to qualify 10K runners. So thanks COVID. That's enjoyable. Turning our attention to the college route, or the college world, we had a cross country race. That's right. It's February and we're still dealing with cross country. For those who don't know, the college indoor championships are going to happen like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and the cross country championships are happening the following Monday. And that's all happening in about 6 weeks time from now. But a cross country race happened in Vegas. You had Northern Arizona going against BYU, the first and second ranked teams on the men's side. BYU edged out NAU. NAU was paced out by Nico Young in his first ever college race, loses to Connor Mantz by, I think it's like 2 or 3 seconds. But literally, if you have a college freshman who's behind a top 3 runner in all of the NCAAs, NAU is pretty stacked. And Luis Grijalva didn't even run in this particular race, but he's also run 13:15 in the 5K just in December. NAU is stacked. So Arizona's about to have some shine, but BYU is not going to let them run away with it. On the women's side, BYU also won there. There was a bunch of teams at this meet. In addition to those two, you had like Air Force, you had Boise State, you had Washington. It's going to be really cool to see what happens. But the cross-country season for college is a mess because there's no regionals. There's no regional system. Normally what happens is top 2 teams automatically go to nationals plus a bunch of at-large bids. This year, it looks just like college football. There's a selection committee. So if you win your conference meet, great. That might be the only race you get all year before nationals. If you don't win that, you better hope that you race something else either last fall or in this like 6-week span between now and mid-March. So now that things are starting to shake out, a lot of weird, are we going to run cross country? Are we going to prioritize cross country? Are we going to prioritize indoor? A lot of that's happening. So college racing about to be batty for the next couple of weeks. Get excited if you like competition and like seeing the next generation step up, especially in the Olympic year. Turning to Division II, that's right. We take the underdogs in. There was a kid, a Christian Noble. He ran the Division II national record in the 5K like 2 weeks ago. He ran 13:37. He then runs the 3K record like last week. But the NCAA apparently may not ratify not only will they not necessarily ratify his collegiate record, they may not count his time to qualify for nationals because he had the pacing lights going on the inside of the track.
Oh, wow.
So apparently USATF, cool. World Athletics, cool. But the NCAA is like, you cannot have any sort of pacing by technical standards, in addition to, lapped runners helping you, things like that. So there's this whole debate whether or not they're going to give him the record and if he's going to be able to qualify for nationals or if he has to go run another one. So the NCAA stays messing up. Just give the kid his damn record. He clearly crushed that record by a lot, but he's one to watch because, if he's running 13:37 out of Division II, he's got some bright times ahead. And then on the ultra front, two things I want to bring for you to definitely touch on. First one, Alex Nichols embraced the run flat, stay low life. I don't know if you saw this. Did you see this I Run Far article? He literally he basically put up an article that said, hey, people are neglecting the running flat and running fast component of their training as they're preparing for all of these ultras and all these trail races. So kind of just like what you were saying about Barkley, trying to get in some flatter, faster miles. People aren't doing it enough. So Alex Nichols, welcome to the Run Flat Stay Low team, my guy. Appreciate it.
Hey, a couple days a week I do a flat, like every Tuesday I've been doing a flat run, except for today. But and then my treadmill. I mean, for me, flat right now is like 6%. So I'll do like quite a bit of running at 6%, which I think is pretty flat.
That's an overpass. I hope you know that. 6% is a normal street overpass.
Is that steep?
It's not flat.
It's not flat. Well, it's not because I end up accumulating like a couple thousand feet of climbing, I guess, in an hour or so.
Yeah, which is a whole nother thing.
But then when I'm then hiking at 30%, it's like,
all relative.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, and I'm just going to throw this out. This isn't news. This is just like me, personal plea. If I run any run that has any sort of vertical gain, don't come on my Strava comments and say it's not flat. Like, I'm sorry. It's I still need to climb. My races are not all on the track. So
exactly.
Sorry.
It goes both ways, right? Like everyone should run some flatter, faster stuff. And also everyone should run some steeper, climby stuff. Like we all need to be well-rounded and versatile. That should be the goal.
Exactly. And the last thing, and I'm assuming you saw this, but maybe I might be dropping some information on you. Have you seen the announcement that Spartan Trail made around their World Championship Series?
No.
Okay. So
like within the last few days?
I think they teased it a couple weeks ago, and then in the past couple of days, they did release some new information. So Spartan, as many people know them from the obstacle course racing world, has jumped into trail running and the trail racing series. 2020 was supposed to be their big splash year. Poor timing, guys. Sorry. But they have a world championships where they've taken over ownership of a couple of different races and are standing up a few of their own. And through the course of the series, you can earn points to qualify for this world championships. The world championships is going to be in February of next year, so February 2022, in the Andes. And I wrote this down. It's a race called, again, didn't take Spanish. I'm a butcher this, so I apologize. Aconcagua. Sure. There you go. Damn, I wasn't even close. Okay, whatever. So that dick. Okay, so that's going to be the World Championships. So they have this whole series of races that are going to be occurring this year, including like Trans-Gran Canaria, Patagonia, Lavaredo, are all like in this series. But for the domestic folks here in America, the North Face 50 no longer a thing. But the Golden Gate Trail Ultra or the Golden Gate Trail Classic is going to be occurring in the fall of 2021 in like the greater San Francisco area. So it looks like Spartan is essentially reviving what was the North Face 50 and bringing it back into their greater race series. It's going to have prize money for the top 5. It's going to have points to qualify for that World Championships. So it's not going to be as prestigious in this series as, Trans-Gran Canaria and Patagonia, but it hopefully will be a chance for those folks who are looking for like a very poppy, like late fall, early winter race here in America to get one in. So if you liked that race back in the day, all of like 2 or 3 years ago. Looks like some version of it's coming back under the Spartan umbrella. It's also going to have a shorter race series, and all of these races are going to have a shorter race series. So there's like an ultra and then like a endurance run. So it's like 100K and 42K or something like that. So a lot more information should be coming on those. We'll start to see who invests in that series, how much it's going to compete with Ultra Trail World Tour and all of that. But get excited. A lot of things coming down the pipeline from Spartan once in-person racing comes back in full force. That's news. Dab on them. Go for it, sir.
All right. We got some comments.
Good.
We get to those?
Please do.
Sweet. JM, how do you handle the Barkley pressure and thin margin for error, both in preparation and race day execution? I mean, I don't know. I don't have time to think about pressure. I don't really feel pressure. Yeah. I don't know. The margin for error, you definitely don't want to mess up on race weekend. You absolutely want to make sure you nail your books and your navigation, and probably just need to sleep a lot before the race. So sleep deprivation is not a factor. Experience allows to accept for it what it is. Absolutely. I mean, I kind of know what I'm getting myself into at this point. Oh, here we go. This is something that you texted me about. Bill Hart Davidson. Gary Robbins stepped up his training this week with the Eggnog Mile.
Yeah, we got to touch on it. That was in the Q&A. Multiple people hit me up about this on Instagram. Did you watch the video?
No.
Okay.
I will probably watch it tonight on my treadmill. Absolutely.
So for those who are unfamiliar, Gary Robbins, I'll say tangentially friend of the pod because he's a friend of Jamil's. He took on the Nog Jog, which was normal beer mile rules, 12 ounces, or I guess 355 milliliters because Canada metric, of vegan eggnog, which by his own admission, not as thick and fatty as normal eggnog, but still thick, still creamy, still will wreck your stomach. And that's exactly how that went down, because his first glass or cup was chugged in under 8 seconds. He started cranking. He ran like a 1:15 first lap or something like that. And he actually held it down pretty well. No pun intended. I think he ran like 7 flat or like just over for 4 12-ounce cups of vegan eggnog, 1.42 liters total. And, I think actual running time was like 5:35 or just over, which is a lot for that much fluid and that much nastiness. And I love vegan eggnog, but we've done some weird challenges, and that's not easy. So, and then he proceeded to vomit on the infield of this track, like within the first 30 seconds of finishing. It was awesome. I will say, so if you have not seen it, it's linked on his Instagram, or if you just go to Gary Robbins' YouTube channel, it should be like the last video he put up. I will say though, he could have shaved some time. He had a table set up and he had pre-poured all the cups. That's fine, whatever. I'm not going to take qualm with that. However, he did not use the relay zone. So under normal beer mile rules, you have 10 meters to grab, drink while you're walking through that 10-meter zone, and then like be done with it. He just stood at the table. Like his table was set up at the middle of a turn. Like the steeplechase barrier was in the background right behind him. So like I don't know what he was thinking with his setup on the track, but he basically he gave up time by just like standing there and chugging right next to the table versus using a true relay zone.
Well, that reminds me of like our holiday treat, whatever we did. Weren't we on like the turn of a track or that?
We were, but we were also like eating cookies and stuff.
We weren't doing like the eggnog. If we were doing the eggnog mile, we would do it like beer mile rules for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, we definitely had eggnog involved in the holiday challenge, but there was cookies. Was there a cake? Like, I don't remember. They all blend together at this point. We had a lot of weird stuff, and we had a security guard that we were trying to dodge and daylight. So we had a lot going against us. He was highly successful at this Nog Jog. So shout out to Gary. We'll probably come for that record next year.
All right. You heard it here first. Let's see. Skylar, go up Diablo. Really good views up there. Maybe not so flat.
Definitely not flat because it's like 3,200 feet of climbing. But yeah, the views are great. I love Diablo. Go at
Uh,
least once a year.
Someone, we didn't get to this earlier. We were talking about their YouTube values and plan and stuff. Value can also just seeing you be real. So failed workouts or easy runs that are miserable can be inspiring.
Got a lot of those right now.
Jem Rooney,
My
shout out.
man.
He says Nick Barre has his own film crew to film and edit most of his videos.
This is true. That's because he also runs an entire supplements company. But that was a like YouTube running news thing this past weekend. Him and Hunter McIntyre were going for sub 3 hour marathons, and I believe both got it. I know Hunter
Really?
definitely did. I haven't seen Nick put out a
Was
video
that just
yet.
on their own or at a race?
I think it was at a race. Nick had a whole training series of like, I'm training for a sub 3 marathon. Like, here's me like balancing triathlon training and specific marathon training, which I will say for the record, Ironman has a marathon in it. So training for a sub 3 marathon is training for Ironman. I'm just gonna say it that you are still training for the triathlon, but I appreciate your focus on running. So kudos for breaking 3 hours. But yeah, I believe that they both went after it and they both knocked it down this past weekend.
We got drinking game, a shot every time Jam Jam yawns. You'd be drunk right now. Good on you. Hopefully you're playing out there.
Oh, wait until we do the live stream because you're about to be trashed.
Yeah, the live stream is gonna be sponsored by Rain Energy, so get ready for it. And probably like Postmates Starbucks or something, who knows. They did a video a couple years ago where they went goo and tasted a bunch of made up flavors. That was us, right?
We did do a thing like that.
Carol just says it's relaxing to listen to you guys talk. That's what the pod's for.
Yeah.
Stay low flat news. Yes, that's what we just did. Let's see, not a question, but I got into CCC this year. I just hope I can get vaccinated before August. What are the chances? You think most Americans will have a shot at getting that shot? Get that COVID passport?
I got to be very delicate
You
about
can't
how I
say.
say this. No. Okay, I'll put it this way. The preliminary data from Johnson & Johnson and AstraZeneca are great. The Johnson & Johnson specifically being one shot makes life a hell of a lot easier in terms of vaccine administration. But there are a host of efforts being made. I don't know exactly where this person lives, but there are a host of efforts being made nationally here in America to both increase the amount of vaccine allocation and the speed at which that's being administered and how smoothly that goes, especially for folks who are not tech literate, to be able to find appointments when it is their time to get vaccinated. So we're working on it. I know that my folks in other areas of the country are working on it. And that's our hope, is to get folks through this as quickly as possible and back to whatever normal life tends to look like. So we're trying. And make sure you sign up for your local county and or state's notification system so that once your phase comes up, you know exactly where you can get vaccinated, when to get vaccinated, and how to ensure those around you can also get vaccinated.
Dan Watson, love hearing all this running news. That was back when you were talking about all that, the track news.
That's what I'm here for.
Charlie Seymour, do you guys ever watch Total Running Productions videos? Is that the one where they like pick a topic and it's just like a narration voice and they just put a bunch of like footage over, they just talk over footage and they get a lot of views?
Yeah, the one where it looks like an AI just made it. Yeah.
They just like take footage. Like it's a commentary video, basically, I guess. They just kind of assume they have permission to take it and just take it.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I watched one video and was like, I'm out.
It's not for me, but it clearly is popular. They get multitude of views more than we do, so I'm sure it's serves its purpose.
I don't know. Yeah.
Nick created a race for the sub 3 attempt, is what he says.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
And it says Nick ran a 2:56. He had a bunch of races canceled, ended up putting on his own race. Stacy, really enjoyed listening to the conversation tonight. Thanks for catching us up on the running news. A nice slice of normalcy in a very non-normal time. And This is from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 858, who's been very active in the chat tonight. Someone just called them random runner. Skizzle, how worried are you about the new variants and vaccines not being effective against them? If you can elaborate. If not, we can move on.
No, that's we're here. Let's go for it. All right. So all viruses mutate over time. Like, this is just how virology works. Most mutations are inconsequential in the grand scheme of things. We recognize that, the UK variant and the South Africa variant, or I should say the variant first identified in the UK and the variant first identified in South Africa, they are more communicable. So from a general public health standpoint, if we don't take the necessary precautions that we've been saying all along in terms of masking, wash your hands, social distance, then more people are just going to catch the virus. It's mutated to that point where it is just more communicable. That being said, if we take those basic precautions and continue to stay diligent about those, and we get through the vaccinations as quickly as we can, as folks come up in line, then I'm not terribly worried about it. From an efficacy of the vaccine standpoint, listen, in the most great delights of the world, the fact that the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines are 94% efficacious, even if that drops down to 90, 88, 86% efficacious, that's still wildly good. And the efficacy of vaccines is specific to any sort of illness. So it's not just like, oh, it's 96 or it's 94% effective against you dying. It's 94% effective against you getting ill, full stop, from COVID. So, we're seeing basically 100% efficacy if you want to measure it as severe outcomes, hospitalizations, and deaths. So the new variants, while the more people who get them leave them at risk of getting to having negative outcomes, in terms of the vaccine component, the data that we have currently shows that if you get that vaccine, you're going to be pretty well protected from those strains causing severe outcomes, and you're very much set up for success for those vaccines not necessarily putting you in the hospital or at risk of dying. So again, if you have the opportunity to get the vaccine, regardless of which one it is, assuming it is FDA approved here in the United States, make sure you go forth and get that as soon as you have the opportunity to do so.
Sweet. That's awesome. Any last questions? I think we're kind of getting to the wind down part of the show, possibly.
There were
some more stuff?
Yeah, there were two on Instagram that I wanted to throw your way.
Yeah.
One of these, they sent it, and I don't think you're going to have an answer to it, but I'm going to ask you anyway because we give the people what they want. Do you have a go-to Super Bowl snack?
Oh, man.
The Super Bowl's also this weekend, just in case you didn't know.
When is that? Man, okay. What if I were watching the Super Bowl this weekend, instead of driving around the Black Canyon course and flying my drone around as practice, I would probably have like vegan mozzarella sticks or maybe like buffalo cauliflower wings. That would be my choices right there.
I respect that. That's actually more on the nose than I thought you were going to go for.
I mean, I've been to Super Bowl parties in my day. Okay.
Do you know sports ball? Is that a thing? I know for me personally, I'm a wings guy. I'm a nachos guy, especially if there's chili involved. Like, that's sort of my growth. Like, I need protein, especially because that's a grind. Like, the game is so long. I need some proteins in the system to offset all the great beers that I'm going to be having. So, which we didn't shout out, by the way. What are you drinking tonight?
Oh, I had a spiked snow melt. This is the hard seltzer from Upslope that has some Scratch Labs in it, and this is peach lemonade. So
good pre-run.
What about you?
Pre-run drink. I respect that. I have the What Does Mine Say? Sweet from Oakland United. which is a "Dude, where's my car" reference, they also have one that says "Dude" on the side, and it is a
Nice.
different
Oh, it's
hop
dude.
series.
Sweet,
Yeah,
dude. Got it.
exactly. So shout out. And then the last question we got on Instagram, no one to bring your way, and you can go into this to the degree that we have time for. What are the pros and cons of hiring a coach? Want to bring this one your way because I know you've had a coach historically, and we've talked a little bit in previous weeks about the decision that you made to not have a coach during this training cycle specifically. But in your experience, what are some of the pros and cons of hiring a coach, and maybe even some quick tips on what folks should be looking for to manage that relationship?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, pros, I think it's someone that can help keep you accountable. It's someone that can just give you a guide and a plan to get to a goal that may be something you've never trained for before, or you're trying to hit a new level. It's someone that has, I mean, hopefully training experience and can give you advice on whether they've done it themselves or they've worked with other athletes that have hit the goal or reached towards the goals that you're reaching towards. So I think those can be big pluses. The cons, maybe it can sometimes feel restrictive. Like running, maybe it's times if you're not in the right headspace, running can become a chore in the workouts, and it can be maybe add more stress. I think it just depends on where you're at and what your goals are. Sometimes I think it's good and freeing to run as you feel or whatever you want when you want. And I know for me, sometimes I've thought getting a coach would make me motivated to want to run because A, I'm paying them sometimes a lot of money. B, I have it on my schedule, so it means I have to do it. But then life gets in the way sometimes and I blow off my workouts anyways, and it actually didn't provide me motivation. And then I not only am spending money on this, but I'm then kind of feeling weird emotions, like I'm feeling guilty, like I'm not respecting them, or I don't know. It can just kind of, maybe those are some pros and cons to think about, just depending on where you're at, what your goals are. What you got?
Yeah, no, as somebody who has never had a coach outside of a high school college relationship, coaches are definitely good at the accountability part, as you spoke about. Also realizing when you're doing too damn much. I think it's easy to get locked into, here's my training plan, here's my goal race. I need to do whatever I can to be ready for that goal race. And sometimes it's good to have a coach who just like pumps the brakes and is like, oh, like here are the signs of overtraining, or like, what are the other stressors going on in your life? And like, let's talk through those to make sure that, we recognize that all stress on your body, emotionally or physically, is going to wear you down. So like, let's make sure that that's properly balanced. So very important to have an open relationship with that coach to be able to talk through those sorts of things as well. It's one of the things that I, as a high school coach, is very difficult because as adolescents are trying to understand and learn their feelings and how to express them. So I have to think through like the academic side, the home life side, the running side, PE, and like trying to get students to tell me like all the things that are going on to help set them up for success and longevity in the sport. So those are the sorts of things to think about. But make sure that running is still fun. Unless you are actively in the process of trying to get paid for running, make sure you are enjoying the process. Don't just give money to someone to force you to do something. Like keep the fire alive. If you can do that, then that's more important for you to be able to be in the sport for decades instead of burning out really quick in 5 or 6 years, jacking up parts of your body, your mental and emotional health, and then who knows what from there.
For sure. Cool. I think with that, we should wrap it up, wind it up. Do you have any more Instagram questions, or was that it for today?
I have one question from the other side of this wall, which is, when am I going to run my next 100-miler? Which is to say, when am I ever going to complete a 100-miler? Because that did not work across the years 2018. Or is that 2019? It all blends together. Yeah. And then I don't know, but that might be forthcoming. So Jamil, let's chat about which 100-miler makes the most sense for me to come out and do.
Perfect, because I'll be there crewing and pacing. So.
And who knows, maybe I'll end up pacing 100 miles of Cocodona at the rate that we're going. So let's get weird, sir. Let's get weird.
Sounds good.
All right. Well,
All
thank you
right.
guys for watching. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. If you're watching this or listening to it later, make sure you show us some love by telling a friend to check us out. Hit us in the comments. We check them. We'll get to it next week. Next week is going to be jam packed with the Black Canyon 100K preview, but we're going to touch on some other things. So let us know what you guys want us to cover, things that you're looking for from this channel and this pod writ large. And join us next week, Tuesday. Get in the chat. Let's get weird. That's it. I'm out. I've been your boy Skizzle Fresh. Jam Jam. Wrap it up.
And we got a comment, destroy the like button. 60 people watching only 10 likes. Let's go. That's all I got for you. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We'll see you next week. Have a good one. Get
Love you.
Get some long runs in.
Bye.
Adios.